Yo, 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 it's Boxing with the Man Them. You're here today with Malik. I'm doing it solo today. Tox ain't going to be in today, unfortunately. He's an amateur boxer, so he had to take some time off. He's decided to take the 2 days off. We were supposed to record yesterday on Sunday, but it's Monday and he still had needed to rest, so I've just told him to relax. And I'm doing it solo today, so let's get underway with what's going on in the boxing world. It's been a lot of news to talk about. I think first let's talk about Lawrence Okolie versus Chris Billam-Smith. Wow, wow, wow. What a fight. Messy one, ugly one, like expected, like I said in the previous video. And yeah, it's lived up to what we thought. It was going to be messy. I said the only way that Okolie could win is if it's dirty. And it was dirty, but he didn't win. Chris Billam-Smith got his punches off, played the game well, took, I think, Okolie's best punches in that fight, um, and managed to knock him down 3 times. The second one was dubious. I think the third one, but yeah, he was losing the fight. The scorecard was shocking. One judge had it at 112, 112. So basically, it sounds like, if I'm correct, that he had Okolie winning the fights, but because of the knockdowns, it was a draw. I don't know how you count smothering work. Like, if you're not punching and you're hugging or you're applying pressure, do you count that as a winning round? You know, the thing with boxing right now, judging boxing is so confusing now, because when it comes to boxing, I think boxing's still at that stage where everyone judges it by their own critique. Everyone has different critiques for judging it. So for me personally, it's punch landing. I'm not really concerned if you're applying a lot of pressure in the fight. If you're not hitting him, then you're losing the round, in my opinion. But some people see it differently. And I think perfect example was Haney versus Lomachenko. Lomachenko wasn't landing a lot like people thought he was, but people thought he won the fight. I said it was very close. I wouldn't. I would have never been unhappy if Loma won it, but I thought it was close nonetheless. So yeah. But going back to the Lawrence Okolie fight and Chris Billam-Smith, Chris really deserved it. I knew if it got to the boxing, Chris will have Okolie's number. They're both familiar with each other. They used to spar each other. So I think that gave Chris the edge. He knew what was going to come. He knew what Okolie was going to give. And it was more if Chris can handle it, compared to the Reactable fight, where I think there was that element of surprise when he got hit in that fight, which made him lose the fight. And it was more clear, which was actually shocking, that Chris was the better fight. You could actually see, I think, fundamentals when it got tough. Okolie lost it all. And I really like Okolie. Like, I've met him in person. He's a dope dude, but his fundamentals just went out the window when it came to the final rounds. It was just ragged. He was falling over. He lost his balance. He couldn't throw the jab. He does this style where he just like holding his arm out, and he's not really throwing the jab. He's like using it, but it's like nothing was coming off that. And I just don't know why he kept on doing it. He kept on doing it repeatedly. I was just like, what's going on? But I personally think fatigue played a big part, especially coming into the later round. He lost his balance, and yeah, it's back to the drawing board. I wonder how that relationship with his new trainer, um, Emmanuel Stewart, it wasn't. I expected more from Okolie, in my personal opinion, but yeah. Chris Billam-Smith is the WBO cruiserweight world champion. I'm proud of him. I've watched his career. I've watched him fight, and he's really like taking it to him. I would like, I would like for the rematch not to happen. Actually, I don't think a lot of people want to see that rematch, because the excessive holding in that fight was disgusting. I'm surprised that Cody didn't get disqualified. I think if he wasn't the world champion, he would have got disqualified. It was excessive, like, and the referee was being fair is even an understatement. I think he gave him so much grace, especially coming into the final round. It was just too much, warning after warning after warning, And yeah, the fans were booing at some point of the fights. They were even booing at the end, even though Okolie accepted his loss well, which I respect. It takes a lot because he could have easily, you know, acted like become a sore loser. But I think where they have the familiarity of working in the same gym, you know, is looking. They had that respect. So kudos to both of them. They're both going to run it back, hopefully sooner than later, so we could get that Reactor fight. Because I think Chris Billam-Smith winning that fight kind of showed that okay, Reactor is definitely in the midst. And yeah, these guys need to start fighting fighters overseas, bringing it. And yeah, we want to see another undisputed in the division. Hopefully, none of them move up. So yeah, that was a good night of boxing. Lara Woods, complete outclass, which we kind of expected because in the first fight, Lara Woods was outboxing him, but unfortunately, coming into that round where he got knocked out, he was fatigued. Lara didn't make weight, which was unprofessional from him, so he couldn't actually even defend it. He gave up the belt on the scales, which was unfortunate, but that's boxing politics. It gets like that sometimes. I wonder where Woods goes on from here because there's some killers in the division. I'll see. We'll see if he fights and defends or does he go and try to unify himself. Hopefully he does. We'll see that. Moving on swiftly from that, yeah, the Lara Woods fight also, we saw OHARA Davies link up with Eddie Hearn. Wow, that was exciting. Obviously, if giving you some backstory to it, OHARA used to be signed to Matchroom. Eddie Hearn touted this guy as the next guy, taking him around the world. Basically helped OHARA get to the stage he was until he got kind of out. I'll say cancelled because obviously what he said about the Liverpool Hillsborough disaster, which was unfortunate, but I think he was naive about how deep that situation is to people up in Liverpool, and that ultimately got him cancelled. The conversation between both of them actually brought a lot of clarity to what actually happened because it was more like, okay, Hara's not at Matchroom, they've parted companies, and that was it. One thing I didn't know beforehand was that he wasn't under contract, hence why O'Hara went on to fight on BT and other networks and so on and so. And two, it was almost like Eddie Hearn was put in a corner. It was a funny one because Eddie Hearn kept on saying this whole business thing, and I've never really, in business, it's like, it's nothing personal, people always say, oh, yeah, it's just business. And I think when it's just business, that means there's no moral compass to your decision making. It's just like, okay, we're doing what the best interest for the business. But Hara was there in the beginning of Matchroom and he was that fighter for him. So he felt like he was thrown under the bus. I could see the argument for O'Hara and also could see the argument for Eddie Hearn. He kept on slipping up in his words saying like stuff like, oh, I felt you felt that I did the wrong thing or da 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 da, and kept on saying the right thing. But I know there's a level of Eddie Hearn kind of regrets it. But Eddie Hearn's a very good businessman and he's moved on from the situation. O'Hara's done well to get himself back in a title position, challenging position. And yeah, you said that there's a lot of money to be made. And I'm happy that both of them put bygones be bygones and just make it happen. So that fight should be a fight between him and Jack Carroll could be happening. Maybe he might win the purse beat for Rolly Romero versus O'HARA Davies. The future's bright for both of them. So yeah, I look forward to seeing it. I feel like O'HARA's. I've always said he's like world level contender because even like seeing when he lost to Josh Taylor, Josh Taylor's gone on to become a unified champion, and that's the level he's been fighting at. The people he's lost have competed at world level, so I know O'HARA can mix up with them as long as he focuses on boxing. I've been a big fan of him. He's got a solid right and left hand. He could bang with both hands, almost to tank level in my personal opinion, because I've seen him really hurt boxers in his career. And yeah, on to next, Anthony Joshua. Also at that fight, Eddie Hearn confirmed that Anthony Joshua has received an offer from Tyson Fury. So it's looking like it might happen. Yep, it's looking like it might happen. So we're gonna hopefully see that happening. Um, and yeah, let's have it. Like, let's have it. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I've already said what my stance is. If Tyson Fury doesn't fight a top level fighter, when I say top level fighter, it's either Usyk, Tyson Fury, yeah, they're the no Usyk or Anthony Joshua. Then I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm boycotting these fights, and I couldn't care less. I'm not having a world champion fight anything less than world level fighters. It's just he gets away with it. The same pressure we put on Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, we should be putting it on Tyson Fury. And you can't be dipping in level of competition just because you're taking time off. What type of champion are you? So yeah, and that's it really. But I'll leave it there. Boxing with the man them. Unfortunately, it was just me by myself. This is the first time I'm doing this, so don't be harsh on me. But let me know what you think about what's gone on and what I've spoken about today. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe. Peace.